Okay, here we go. This is the Jeff Howell Part 3 Q&A. We have about 4 questions that are going to get answered tonight. The next pile of questions that we had, we still have more to answer. So if your question has not been answered yet, it's coming. We're just not bombarding Jeff with a whole pile of them. We're only asking about half at a time that are coming in. We do have some pointers, though, from questions from here on out. Jeff needs a little bit more description, as I've kind of tried to state in the comment section below sometimes, that please make sure your questions are a little bit more detailed. Don't just say, what was your favorite time at Creative? That's not good enough. We've asked that question before already. I think that's coming up. A favorite memory, we just have to have a little bit more of it. Like a person, a thing, a year, an event, something a little bit more to trigger a memory for him. He cannot remember everything from 40 years ago. So, and he was only there from late 81 to middle of 83. So those are the years that you do want to be trying to think about. We're starting to get a kind of a few repeat questions. No more questions on what was your favorite thing about Rockafire, Creative, what was your favorite memory, what was your favorite time there. We've asked those questions enough. And they're pretty much going to get, we're not asking them repeat, so don't ask any more of those after tonight. An answer to answer. So try to think of other things like his other career, and Clutch, or any songs, anything particular. Let's try to focus on those a little bit more. So the first question we got from was Retro Play Planet, asked about the recording session for Desperado. Wanted to know if it was from the Eagles version. This is Jeff's answer to this, and just so for people who don't believe me on this, this is a picture I had to take of Jeff's. Obviously I could do it this way, but there you get it, where I'm getting him through Messenger. So he says, here you go, Victoria. Retro, I can't picture in my head the actual session when we recorded her on that song, but 99% positive we used the Eagles version of that song. Linda Ronstadt did that song too. It's not one of my favorites. I don't really care for that one, but that was the question and answer for that one. But that's so we'll move on. This one's from Dookies, and this one has something to do with, does he still have his colander? Jeff says, no, I don't still have my colander from back then. Landon from y'all's group decorated and gave me one recently to use as a tip jar, which I super appreciate. I still have that one. Landon is one of the fans, which I did know about that. So that's the answer to that one. This one is from Duke Space Dog. This one was about, I think maybe a particular memory from CE or Rockafire days. And Jeff's answer is, no, sorry, don't really remember any particular moment with exceptional fondness. Met some wonderful, wonderful people there. Rick Bailey ended up being my best friend. I'm extremely lucky to have about 3 or 4 people that I call best friends, but he's right at the top. The 1.5 year experience I was there was wonderful. If I could think of one that stands out, I would definitely let you know, but as right now, I can't think of one in particular. Again, sorry. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. You have to be a little more specific in your questions. But don't say, what's your favorite moment from 82 either, because that's not going to be good enough either. So again, if you get the point, you get the point. All right, now this one is from Murph. Who asked about, this is about Jeff's days on the radio. He was on Monsters in the Midday in Florida for over 20 years with Bert Wilson, and this is a question that has to do with the time that he was on this radio show. So if you know nothing about this radio show, you will not understand the answers to these questions. If you do know about the radio show and any of his time there, then you will understand the answer to this question. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. And this is the last question we have to answer. And this is a very long one. So he says to Murph, like I said in previous set of answers, I'm not really good at pulling up random stories in my brain. I usually need like something to relate to a certain incident and triggers to trigger the particular memory for me. But when I read this question, the first thing that popped into my head was one of the last Miss Monster concerts we put on. Savannah had a nervous breakdown about 6 weeks before the concert. Previous to that, there was a lot of tension on the show for a long time. Savannah had broken up with Russ Rollins, who is still on the show today. I did not know they were a thing. And he was having a really rough time with it. The radio audience was well aware that she had been hospitalized, and concern calls and emails were flowing in. We actually didn't know until the last minute she was going to be able to make the concert. She did, but was way messed up on some pills. When it was time to take the stage, Russ came out first and introduced each of us, leaving Savannah until last. He teased her intro with something like, "As you all know, Savannah has been seriously hospitalized and told she couldn't be here tonight." Then after a slow build-up, he screamed, "But here she is, the sexy Savannah." The whole place went absolutely nuts. By Russ's arrangement. Savannah came out with a straitjacket and a Hannibal Lecter mask on. She was strapped to a large dolly, and Blackbean and Daniel, who I do not know who these people are, wheeled her up and down the stage on the gangplank. The people were cheering like I never heard, and I don't think Savannah even knew where she was. She was super, super funny that night, not so much on purpose, but more in a Cheech and Chong kind of way, and later accidentally walked off the front edge of the 8-foot gangplank in the middle of one of her songs. Jeff. So that is only people who know about the radio show are going to understand some of that, which I don't really actually get into. But Savannah and Bert worked together a lot through the years and with Jeff. So the three of them are really known well for that show. And so that is the first and only Monsters in the Midday question we've had. So I know a lot of younger fans will not know about that time where the guys were on the show, but some people have caught that. So again, any other questions, please be more specific, more descriptive. If you can, keep DMing. We're going to try to keep this going as long as we can with Jeff, because he's really about the only other one we've got left to answer questions about anything. I'd like to get Duke in on it sometime. I've asked him. He hasn't answered. But I don't know if we'll get that. We do have a video on here of a live feed that I did with him last October. If you've not seen it, scroll back down and try to look for the live feed with Duke from last October. Some questions were asked and answered on that live feed. So we do have that. Any other questions for Jeff, please comment down below or please DM me on Facebook or Instagram, and we will see you next time. Thank you.